Okay, so we're back. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Now, inshallah, we can start the Q&A.
Part of the lecture concept earlier. There is a verse in the Quran, I don't know which chapter.
Mhm. Yes.
Is that part of the fact that the reason why the same Quran about 1400 years ago is the same today?
Yes.
Because of divine God decision.
Yes. So there's a verse in the Holy Quran that Hajj was saying, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that we brought down the Quran and we are the ones who will preserve it. So yes, that is the reason why. That the Quran has been preserved from the time of revelation to this very day. That's it. That was a quick question. Okay, so
Yesterday
Yusuf.
you said that we will ask this question. What is najis and what is not najis? Like, for example, there are a lot of people confused on what is pure, impure.
Yes.
They think something is impure, but it might not be impure.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what is the difference between something being impure and something being dirty? And what are the impurities anyway? So the best way is to know what the impurities are, first of all. And then that way you'll know anything else is just going to be dirty. Okay? So the najasat, there's 9 or 10, depending on whether you count beer and wine to be 1 or you count them as being 2. Okay? So number 1 is going to be urine. Number 2 is going to be feces. Okay? Number 3 is going to be blood. Number 4 is going to be semen, so seminal fluid. Number 5 is going to be pig. Number 6 is going to be dog. Okay, so any pig byproduct or whatever. A dog is considered to be najis. That doesn't mean that they're evil or that they have no purpose in life. No, that dogs are very good. In the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how He protected the believers, the people of the cave, with a dog protecting the entrance of the cave. So dogs are good, loyal animals, right? They have a purpose. Allah created them. Just because they're najis doesn't mean that they're bad. Even pigs have a purpose, by the way. They're the garbage collectors of nature. Okay, they eat everything, right? They're scavengers. They eat everything. Okay, so they have a purpose, but they're najis, right? They're impure. Okay. Also, you have a dead body, dead human body, before it is washed. It's considered to be impure. A person who is a disbeliever, a kafir, is considered to be impure. So if a person says the shahadatain, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, they become Muslim, they become tahir. Does that mean that disbelievers, all disbelievers, including kitabiyin, those of Ahl al-Kitab, the Christians and the Jews? No. Christians and the Jews are considered to be tahir, but those who are not Christian or Jew, they're considered to be najis or impure. Okay? That just means, it doesn't mean you can't shake their hands. You can shake their hands just fine. Okay? But if there's any moisture on your hand or on their hand, then that moisture will transfer the impurity. You just have to wash your hand under water. That's all. Same thing applies to, let's say, for example, a dog. If you touch a dog and your hand is dry, okay, or any impurity, if it's dry and your hand is dry, as long as there's not any wetness to transfer the impurity, then you're fine. Okay? The only thing is a dead person. A dead person, if you touch them before they're washed. Okay, once they get cold, if you touch them, you have to do ghusl mas al-mayyit, the ghusl of touching a dead person. But after they're completely washed, okay, then you're fine to touch them. Okay, after they're cold, then you don't have to do ghusl mas al-mayyit. Also, an animal that is a non-halal slaughter, okay, meaning that you didn't follow the laws of slaughtering it the halal way, otherwise known as zabiha. Here they call them zabiha or something like that, zabiha. Also, an animal that dies a natural death, it's considered meita, so that's considered najis as well. And as well, an animal that is considered to be jalal, meaning an animal that eats its own feces. Okay, so that animal is considered to be najis as well. And al-haywan al-mawtu', which means an animal that, God forbid, somebody did something that's had intercourse with it or something like that, that animal is considered to be najis as well. Okay, so those are the najasat. Of course, I did mention wine and beer. Okay, not alcohol, because like ethyl alcohol, for example, is not considered to be najis. Okay, so the rubbing alcohol, that's not considered to be najis. The alcohol that's in perfume, okay, or in cologne, that's not considered to be najis. Okay, but it's haram to consume, right? It's an intoxicant. Okay, so alcohol is haram because it's an intoxicant, but wine is najis completely, which means it's impure. Which means if it touches you, you got to wash your hand. Okay, if you get some on you, you got to wash your hand. Okay, so then you have to. So everything else then, other than this, these things that I mentioned, are going to be basically dirty. It's not going to be impure. Now the impurity here refers to a spiritual impurity, right? Not just a physical impurity, but spiritual impurity. So as for dirt, let's take some practical examples. Okay, so let's say I go into the bathroom, okay, and there's water on the floor. Now, am I required to wear slippers when I enter the bathroom? Is this a requirement? No, it's not. Exactly, it's not. What if I step on that puddle of water? Does that mean that that puddle of water is najis? No. Okay, unless it's right next to where the person urinates or defecates, and it has a discoloration in its color, okay, such that you would assume that, yeah, most likely this is urine, okay, then it's not going to be that. What about the water on the sink, around the tap? Is that considered to be najis? No, it's not, okay? That's just regular, pure water, okay? So some people, they end up, becoming OCD, obsessive compulsive about these things, because they don't know what's najis and what's not, so they try to be extra cautious with everything, okay? Shukuki, exactly, yeah. And kathir al-shak la yu'tana bi-shakka. So a person who is OCD, they're not supposed to pay attention to, all of these doubts that they're having, okay? But so that's the difference then between something that is dirty, okay? So for example, if I go outside and let's say I don't take my shoes outside, I walk with my shoes inside the house, and there's dirt at the bottom of my shoe, okay? Is that najis? Is that najasa? No. Now, unless I stepped in dog feces and I brought it in and you could see it, right, then the sole of my foot is going to be tahir. In actual fact, the sole of your foot, of your shoe, when you're walking and you step on something najis and you keep walking, that actually purifies it. Okay. Now tomorrow, just remind me, we'll talk about the purifiers. It's very easy. It's water, sun, and earth. We'll take some examples, inshallah. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alaikum assalam.